What's going on, guys? It's your boy JJ. Just wanted to come at you guys with a video tip on how to equalize and get the kick sounding good, the kick drum. Um, I equalize my kick for norteño purposes, whether it's sax or accordion. This can work for any type of other type of genre purpose, whatever you have going on. It's just preference. I have here the Midas M32R. Starting here fresh from a new scene. I got fairly everything flattened out. I'm gonna go ahead and start with my gain all the way down there. Dynamics are fresh, everything's new. Only thing I would really have into play is just my buses and my verbs. Other than that, everything else we'll go ahead and physically talk about as I'm physically moving my board, and this would go for any type of mixer, whether it's this board in particular, the Behringer X32, Midas M32, the Allen and Heath boards, and so forth, Mackie, whatever. Anyhow, we're gonna go ahead and jump in and get started. So right here on my tab, I have on channel 1 kick. I always start with the gain. So seeing from here, I have the gain section right here. I usually hit view, and that's where I start with my gain. It also pops up here, and I could also move my gain here, give myself gain as I'm moving it. This also is moving as well, but we give ourselves gain from here. So I usually give myself just enough gain. Like in this type of meter section, you would see where it's starting to hit in the yellow. It says like -18 right there, -42, and so forth up before you hit the clip. So I hit it like right about where I'm at the first bar of yellow. It's pretty straightforward and simple. That's where you usually want it. It's very safe. That way you would make sure you're not gonna blow up any speakers. So I start with my gain, and I give myself gain until I am hitting that first bar of yellow right there. And then whenever I'm done hitting that first bar yellow, you just set it and don't touch it after that, because everything else you're going to be mixing with is going to be with this fader volume, or this goes for the tablet type stuff. You know, you have your faders on your tablet. You're only going to be moving this after that gain. You don't mix on your gains. And so after that, you would move on to, I move usually on to the equalizing part. So I would start with a low cut. Hit me up right about 40 hertz. Cutting low volumes around 40 hertz. I do that just because it's a preferential thing. I like to have a little bit more boom in my 60s, 80s, right around that area. We're going to activate my EQ tab. First thing I do is usually cut what's around this 100 to 200 area. It gives like a nasty thump. You know, kind of boost it, then sweep to hear what you don't really like out of that nasty thump, and then just cut it. I usually go all the way down, or you can just cut just until where you don't really hear that nasty thump anymore. I'm usually right around this area, kind of just about there. Next we're gonna go ahead and move up to our next EQ. I really should have used number 2 to bring that one down and the 1 for my lows, but we're already here at this point. So for the actual boom itself, I usually like to boost, like I said, like at around this 60 area. Just about there. Sometimes I like to widen it just to be like about right there. Nice little shape going on, just that we can show how much lows you're allowing to pass. And then last but not least, a lot of people like to hear that click. So we're gonna go ahead and come around this 4K to 6K type section is where that high click is at. And then the lower you go, the more middier your click gets. So I usually boost it like around there. but usually I get aggressive, so I'm gonna throw that number 4 on as well. Make sure that's in PEQ mode, and I'm gonna go ahead and sweep it right underneath that number 3 area in the same frequency, and we're gonna go ahead and boost it that crazy. Now if it just doesn't sound sufficient enough, I like to widen the width just a little bit, like right there. And there you have your click. And like I said, you can experiment, move that one over. Same thing with the other one, see where your best click fits. That's equalizing. We'll go ahead and move on from that. I usually like to hit my gating. I run my attack at about 0. You want that attack to be fast because you want to hear that attack, you know, the clickiness. Put my hold about there, and then from there I just dictate my release on how much boom I'm gonna want. So I usually have set it about like 12 o'clock, and then bring up my threshold. Oh, and then don't forget to activate it so we know it's on. So then I usually bring up my threshold like right about to where I hear it closing up. It just sounds punchy, just right. It's right about here, about 40 or 30, right around that area. Usually I like to keep it like right there in between. You'll hear it just fine. And last but not least, we got our compression. This is a personal thing. I like to have the attack real fast, and then the hold to be like at around 0.20 milliseconds, and then my release right there at the 12 o'clock. And I ratio, depending on how heavier the kick, I always set it to about 4.1. I hit my threshold just until I'm right about the -3, and just maybe a bar after, but never to pass -6, because you don't want to kill the sound with that, with too much compression. And so I usually set it just to where I take it about -3, not passing any more than -6. So in this case, I usually have it around like my threshold about 21, anywhere from 20 to 23. We'll set it for about 21 just for safe purposes. And at that, oh, and don't forget to activate it. I think I am done with my kick. That's how you get yourself a nice kick. Put it in the mix. Usually have it at about 0. Just right there, you want all your faders to live around 0, unity. And from there, and you would just move on to your next ideal instrument. I would move on to the snare, then to the hi-hats, and just go in order from there. But that's it. I don't add any extra type of effects or anything to the kick. It's not really needed. It's like a time marker, you know. It's pretty much what the kick is for. But that's it for this video. We're gonna go ahead and call it there. And any other, let me know below for your guys' comments or feedback on that. That's just how I would do my kick. Until next time, appreciate you guys. Thanks.